So then, guys, we're finally here. In just about 5 to 6 months from now, Apple is expected to launch something we've been waiting on for years, the first foldable iPhone. For the longest time, everyone has been calling it the iPhone, Fold, or maybe the iPhone Flip. But based on the latest, most credible leaks, it looks like Apple has already chosen the official branding. This device is now widely expected to be called the iPhone Ultra. And honestly, that name makes a lot of sense. When you look at the price leaks, the design direction, and the hardware, Apple is reportedly packing into this foldable Ultra fits much better than Fold. This isn't just a new form factor, it's shaping up to be Apple's most premium, most expensive, and most experimental iPhone ever. So from now on, just like many other creators, we're going to refer to this device as the iPhone Ultra. If you still catch me slipping and calling it the iPhone Fold out of habit, you'll know exactly which device I'm talking about. But the new name going forward is iPhone Ultra. Alright, let's break this down properly. Name, release date, price, design, display, battery, performance, biometrics, cameras, everything we know so far about Apple's first foldable iPhone. Ultra release date. When is Apple's foldable iPhone coming? First up, the release window. There have been a lot of conflicting rumors around this, but the latest leaks are finally lining up. According to multiple credible reports, the iPhone Ultra is still on schedule for a September 2026 announcement. Earlier in the year, we heard a few worrying whispers that Apple might push the foldable back to December 2026, or even delay the whole project into 2027. Those leaks suggested the hardware just wasn't ready, and that Apple wasn't satisfied with durability and display quality. But newer information from the supply chain and insider sources is now reinforcing one clear message: Apple is targeting its traditional iPhone launch window, September 2026, for the iPhone Ultra. However, there is one important nuance. Apple may still keep the keynote in early to mid-September, but the actual release date could slip toward the end of the month. So instead of the classic announce it, then release it 7 to 10 days later, we might be looking at a 2 to 3 week gap before the iPhone Ultra actually hits shelves. This wouldn't be the first time. Apple has done staggered or slightly delayed rollouts before with certain models and new form factors. Foldable hardware is far more complex than a standard slab iPhone, so seeing a bit of extra breathing room between announcement and availability would not be surprising at all. Bottom line, expect the announcement in September 2026 at Apple's main iPhone event. Expect the actual in-store and online release to be slightly later in September, not necessarily right away. iPhone Ultra price. How much will Apple's foldable iPhone cost? Now let's talk about the part that will hurt the most, the price. Based on the latest leaks, the starting price of the iPhone Ultra is expected to be around $2,000 in the US. That's for the 256GB base storage variant, so you're not getting 128GB here. Apple is reportedly starting the foldable line at 256GB minimum, which makes sense for an Ultra-tier product, but it also pushes the entry price higher than any mainstream iPhone we've seen. Now, what happens if you want more storage? Leaked pricing projections, based on Apple's current Pro and Pro Max storage tiers, suggest that a fully spec'd iPhone Ultra with 2 TB of storage could reach up to around $2,800. To put that into context, take the current or upcoming iPhone 17 Pro Max pricing ladder from 256GB up to 2 TB. Apply that same pattern to the iPhone Ultra, which already starts higher. You end up in the $2,600 to $2,800 range for the top configuration. Given Apple's track record on premium device pricing, a $2,699 or $2,749 price tag for the 2 TB iPhone Ultra would not be surprising at all. So, expected pricing looks roughly like this, unofficial but realistic. 56GB iPhone Ultra, $999 to $999.95. 12GB iPhone Ultra, $2,099 to $2,991. TB iPhone Ultra, $2,399 to $2,592. TB iPhone Ultra, up to US $2,599. In short, this is going to be Apple's most expensive iPhone ever, positioned clearly above the Pro Max line. Why Apple waited. The crease problem and foldable durability. One of the longest-running questions has been, why is Apple so late? To the foldable phone party? Samsung, Google, and several Android brands have had foldables on the market for years now, but Apple has been completely absent from that space. According to a growing number of leaks and insider reports, the main reason has always been the foldable display itself, particularly the crease down the middle of the inner screen, the overall durability of that flexible display. Apple reportedly refused to ship a foldable iPhone until it could solve both problems to its own internal standards. Recent leaks now suggest Apple has finally cracked both issues. A very interesting detail from a new report claims that Apple is using a specialized glue layer in the display stack as part of the solution to minimize or eliminate the visible crease. The inner foldable panel is reportedly being co-developed or supplied by Samsung, but Apple's manufacturing process, including this new adhesive and structural layering, is what helps deliver a creaseless or near creaseless display. Top of that, Mark Gurman and other established Apple reporters have said Apple believes it has significantly improved the durability of the foldable screen compared to what we currently see on most Android foldables. The goal is to make that inner display far less fragile and much more resistant to everyday use. If you've ever owned a foldable from the Android camp, you already know the fear. You're always cautious about the inner screen. You worry about scratches, indentation, delamination, and the feel of the crease. Apple has been waiting specifically to address these fears. And now, with the iPhone Ultra, it looks like the company is finally confident enough in the tech to move forward. So yes, Apple is late, but they are clearly aiming to be late on purpose, with a product that doesn't feel like a first generation. Science experiment.iPhone Ultra design leaks. How does Apple's foldable iPhone look? Let's move on to design. Recent mock-ups and leaked models show the iPhone Ultra placed side by side with the upcoming iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max. In these images, the Ultra sits in the middle, and from a distance, it absolutely looks like part of the same design family. You get the flat, premium edges we've come to expect from recent Pro iPhones. There's a rear camera bar that visually links it to the rest of the lineup. The overall language screams, Pro-level iPhone, just with a hinge and a foldable body. One notable change we're seeing in the latest mock-ups is that the rear camera bar appears slightly shorter, sitting a bit closer to the central crease line on the back. It's a subtle adjustment, but it suggests Apple is still fine-tuning exactly how the camera area interacts with the fold line and internal layout. Overall, though, the latest 3D models and renders look very close to what earlier leaks have been. Showing for months. You can expect only small refinements from here, maybe some tweaks in camera bump dimensions, hinge shaping, and thickness, but the general design direction looks locked in. A book-style foldable, like Galaxy Z Fold. Not a flip phone, a premium metal and glass exterior.